Minister, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, Mating Va, Kiet Mille Falshe, welcome to the Urban Big Data Centre Showcase event, Shaping Cities Through Urban Analytics. I'm afraid I've now used up nearly all of my Gaelic, so I'll be doing the rest of these few opening remarks in English. My name, as Nick said, is Anne Anderson. I'm the Vice Principal and Head of the College of Social Sciences at the University of Glasgow, where the Urban Big Data Centre is based. And it is a real pleasure to welcome you all here today for this celebration of what we have achieved in UBDC, which is a real jewel in the crown of our research at the University of Glasgow. But more importantly, perhaps, to explore key opportunities and challenges going forward for data analytic approaches to contribute to the future success and sustainability of our cities. We're delighted to see such a wonderful turnout, so many colleagues from across the UK, and we're particularly pleased and honoured that Kate Forbes MSP, the Minister for Public Finance and the Digital Economy in the Scottish Government, has joined us and will speak in a moment in this plenary session. Ms Forbes has responsibilities for the digital economy and digital public services. She represents the wonderful Skye, Lochaber and Badenoch constituency. She studied history at the Universities of Cambridge and Edinburgh, for which we will forgive her, with a particular focus on human migration. She served on the Scottish Parliament's Environment, Climate Change and Land Reform Committee and the Health and Sport Committee, amongst others. She is a fluent Gaelic speaker and made history earlier this year by becoming the first female MSP to give a plenary speech in Parliament entirely in Gaelic. Minister, we're delighted that you can be with us. We look forward very much to hearing your speech. I'm sure it will be smashing.
Well, it's always great to start the day with a pardon. No, it's wonderful to be here with you this morning. Matin Vasag of Lochaber Coloraive in Jew. You'll be glad to know that I will not continue to give the entirety of my speech in Gaelic either, but it is wonderful to start. I appreciate the warm welcome. And I don't say it lightly when I mean that it is a pleasure to be here, because you are delivering what I believe is one of the most exciting developments happening in Scotland today. A huge opportunity to really lead the world when it comes to big data, to look for solutions for the problems that are facing governments and societies and economies right across the world. And we want to be at the forefront of using data to drive those innovations, to drive those solutions, and to be a place where the rest of the world looks to for solutions. And it's great to be here to celebrate the University of Glasgow receiving £5 million in funding to continue the highly successful Urban Big Data Centre, which will enable the continued delivery of world-leading urban research over the next 5 years through to January 2024. And in a sense, I want my speech this morning to be both a celebration of how much has been achieved already, and also looking forward to see how much more we can do together, recognising the huge, the vast, the rich resource of data that so many organisations in Scotland sit on, and the opportunity through collaboration with academic institutions to get value from that data, to drive innovation, and to try and crack some of the deep-seated challenges that we face globally. And so when it comes to celebrating the work that has already happened, the impact that the centre has already had, it's obviously achieved that in 4 key areas: in transport and mobility, education and skills, housing and neighbourhoods, and urban analytics. And it's great to be part of an event. I so often talk about big data at various different events, whether that's with local government, with my own Scottish government, with other public sector or private sector organisations. But this event celebrates the use of data to make important decisions to change our society completely, to address the challenges we face, both locally and globally, is a real opportunity for Scotland, and it's an opportunity that I want, as a representative of the Scottish Government, to make clear this morning that we absolutely embrace. And together with Scotland's academic community, we want to build on the investments that are already being made in Scotland and work collaboratively to deliver outcomes that save time, that save money, and ultimately, and most importantly, that save lives. And we're working together to create an environment for this to happen that builds upon the globally recognised capability for trustworthy research that is in the public interest. And since becoming a minister for what I like to call the best portfolio in government, as I regularly remind my colleagues, in fact, as the Minister for the Digital Economy, and in fact as the first Minister for explicitly the digital economy, I was speaking at an event a few weeks ago, and the first question was, are you trying to become the Minister for living, eating, breathing, and doing everything? Because that is the direction, is it not, of the digital economy. And it's recognising not just the technological innovations that are continuing to develop at pace, but also the fact that we sit on such valuable assets, and it's incumbent upon us all, right across public and private and third sector organisations, to make better use of those assets. And since becoming a minister, I've had the opportunity to meet leaders from right across the digital sphere in the private public sectors to hear about the innovative and the forward-thinking work that they are already doing. And it's hugely exciting. And it's been a great way to understand the opportunities for new and novel ways of working. And it includes practical ways that we can systematically use data and evidence to improve outcomes. I have learned a great deal. And what I've found and what I hope to begin addressing today are my aspirations and the aspirations I recognise right across Scotland for exploiting the opportunities even more for data-driven innovation. So, highlighting and celebrating the strengths Scotland has and the opportunities available to us depends on certain key elements. We're fortunate in Scotland to have world-class data about our people, our organisations and our geography. We have a powerful university sector, which we're celebrating here today and of which many of you are representative. And we have a growing business sector driving the adoption of data science and analytics. And together, those give the potential to drive that blue sky thinking, to grow our economy and to solve the most difficult public policy challenges. But it will only happen if there is collaboration and there is partnership and there's a recognition of the pockets of great work that's going on that would be even more improved by working together. Work by the Centre for Economic and Business Research estimates that data-driven innovation has the potential to deliver £20 billion of business benefits to the Scottish economy over the next 5 years. And that's why we've invested and continue to invest in our skills base, in research and technology, so that Scotland remains a productive and a competitive country. And I recognise that one of the most common themes, as it were, of in my conversations with business leaders, with leaders in academia and with leaders in the public sector is the challenge around skills, is the need, in recognition of the opportunities it faces as a country, to make sure that we have the skills here in Scotland to drive that innovation, and that is where the university sector is so critical. But secondly, building on that, we need the collaboration. We need business using their capabilities, we need you using your capabilities, and then we need the work together to recognise where the opportunities are and where both can work together to deliver those outcomes. There's another initiative worth celebrating and highlighting today, and the University of Glasgow and Professor Nick Bailey are also an integral part of a recently created partnership between the Scottish Government and Scotland's leading universities. And the purpose of that collaboration is to deliver a suite of strategic impact research programmes through the Administrative Data Research Partnership. And that initiative, which is made possible through UK-wide funding awarded by the ESRC, will be key to unlocking major societal challenges through the power of data. And those themes cover a broad range of topics, from the health and the life expectancy outcomes of the people of Scotland through to the resilience of our communities. And this programme of research is closely aligned to our national outcomes and will support tracking our progress towards those goals. And Professor Nick Bailey will be leading on some aspects of this work focused on employment, poverty and fair work. And one of the most critical parts in all of this is, as a constituency MSP, I sit in surgeries regularly on a Friday morning where anybody and everyone can come through the door with any concern that they have at all. And for me, that keeps in my mind the human need for us together to find solutions to the challenges they face. There are a number of difficult societal challenges that in Scotland sometimes feel inevitable, and yet they should not be inevitable. There are challenges that governments, as I said earlier, across the world are trying to find solutions to, and there are solutions out there. And we don't want to just see incremental changes in the public services that we deliver and the way in which we try and improve people's lives. We want to see that transformational change. And over the course of the last few months and years, there have been a number of ways in which Scotland has been at the forefront of finding solutions to those deep-seated challenges, whether it's to do with health and social care, whether it's to do with the blight of poverty, whether it's to do with violence in this country. But all of these will only be solved by ensuring that we've got the right skill set here, ensuring that there's collaboration with all the key players, and lastly, and most importantly, and where you come in, is ensuring that we are using it based on the data and the evidence that we have to understand the problems and then to find the solutions. We want all citizens, of course, to feel confident in what we're doing as well. And we want them to feel confident that the personal data that we have and that we use is being shared responsibly to create better and more responsive services. We want to promote the sharing of information within the public sector by overcoming some of the perceived challenges in this area through a better understanding of enabling legal frameworks. And legal frameworks such as the Digital Economy Act can shape our digital world so that we can harness and maximise the opportunities that it provides to pave the way for more consistent and transparent data sharing processes. Data is at the heart of our digital strategy and the delivery of outstanding public services more widely. And these powers, which focus on helping those most in need and those which allow for access to administrative data from across government, will better shape and inform decision-making and policy development. I just want to finish with a brief comment that, as well as having responsibility for the digital economy, one of my other priorities is as Minister for managing the Scottish Government's budget and public finance. And as you can imagine, as we come to the end of November and the beginning of December, the budget is one of the things that's forefront in our mind. And my aspiration for big data and my role as a Minister for Public Finance are really part and parcel of the same purpose, because my aspiration for big data is to harness its value and potential to be a significant force in driving forward public service reform and improve productivity. It's been fascinating to hear about the work that you are doing and the positive impact that this has for the people of Scotland. And enabling collaborative research that's in the public interest is so critically important. It's critically important because it drives change, as I've already said, but it's critically important at a time of challenging public finances as well, where we cannot just sit back and do things as we've done them for years, decades, and sometimes even centuries, but to find new ways of doing things differently. And I'm aware that the Urban Big Data Centre has put a real emphasis on skills and training, working across the public and private sector to push forward the world of urban analytics. So, I don't want to keep you from the rest of your very exciting day. It's been a privilege to be here. It's wonderful to talk to you about the work that you are already doing, because it is at the forefront of delivering 3 outcomes that I think are critically important. The first is putting Scotland on the map. Its first one is leading innovation here in Scotland, because that is great for our society, it's great for our economy, it's great for our university sector, it's great that the rest of the world looks to see what is going on here and that we attract the brightest, the best academics and talent here in Scotland to drive those solutions. Secondly, it's so critically important for people who may never talk about big data, but whose lives will be transformed if we use that big data, if we recognise the rich resource that so many of our organisations sit on, and we use it well to deliver outcomes, to improve their lives, to try and deal with the deep-seated problems that so often strike us as inevitable in Scotland. And thirdly, it's critically important for our economy, because our economy will only thrive if we are able to attract the skills and the talent that we need, if we're able to look for the opportunities, which for a country of 5 million people are hugely important, and if we drive that productivity and help manage our public finances. So basically, in a nutshell, the answer to all of our problems lies here in this room, and no pressure. So I'll finish off with two very, very short points. We're already in a great position. It's great to look back and celebrate progress, but there are even more opportunities awaiting us. And I hope that together we can use your talents to realise the ambition of making Scotland a data capital. I firmly believe we can. And thank you so much for the chance to come and join me this morning.